Today is Wednesday, September 16th, 2020. And I just want to tell you future events. I can deja vu jump just like I moved that ball with the wind. If there's conditions for wind, you can use the wind. If there's conditions for lightning, you can use the lightning. If there's conditions for cold, you can use the cold. If there's conditions for heat, you can use the heat. And if there's conditions for both or a combination of both, you can do combinations of both. Now check this out. I've been trying to do a hurricane for the longest that comes, okay, let's say you shrink Jupiter down to Earth size. Whatever measurement that the eye of Jupiter would be is what I am trying to do now on Earth. I told my friends from outer space, the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superior's guide and all of them, to make sure it's out in the sea and don't let it hit land, because I don't want devastation and people to get hurt or harmed. Now, the last hurricane before this was one of the biggest that we had. And it was roughly around the time that I was talking to my friends, and I told them that I wanted to hear the news say that it was the biggest that they've ever seen. And I did hear CNN News say it was the biggest in that area that they've seen. Now, check this out. My friends, my extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superior friends from outer space told me that it would be irresponsible of them to do such a tornado. Hurricane that size. Then I told them, well, then what size can I get? And I want it to be the biggest that you will allow. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it'd be, about a quarter. If you shrink Jupiter down to our Earth size, I don't know if it would be 10% of what the eye of Jupiter would be at that time, or 25% or 75%. I don't know. But I know when I hear it on the news, I know it was definitely me who was requesting for it. And since I got a little favoritism power over the rest of the humans that have not seen what I've seen, I get to watch this stuff on the news, which is exciting. Now, back in the day, my dad was in Fort Hood, Texas. And one day he was working with some type of radiation. He brought his clothes back home. We didn't know. All we knew was that it was our dad's BDU-like clothing, and we used to wear his clothes and his boots and stuff like that. And next, our hair started turning red for some strange reason. Then my mom messed up and wrote a letter to the president, and Ronald Reagan was the president at the time. And then my dad ended up getting kicked out of the military because they just found excuses to kick him out of the military. He did 16 years and he only gets like 10% medical disability through the VA. I did only 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days, and I get 100% disability through the VA, which it's fair and unfair in a way for someone to be so close to early retirement and then get kicked out of the service because their wife wrote a letter to the president at that stage. But anyway, it was at that time that I started finding myself deja vu jumping. I was around 8 years old. I would see myself in the house, and I would see myself in the house doing something, and next, I estimate about 2 months later, here I am doing exactly what I dreamt of myself doing. And sometimes it was 6 months later, sometimes it was 8 months later, and every time I deja vu jump, I had to fight and struggle to try to remember what was happening. And I could live in that moment of deja vu jumping into the future until I realize that I'm in the future, and then that's when I find myself leaping back to my present, and then I end up waking up out of my bed. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it'd be the next day, sometimes it'd be the middle of the night. Now, I can't control when I deja vu jump, but it just happens. And the last time I think I got punished from this ability, if it's my extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superior friends from outer space that allow me, because last time when I realized, I say about 4 or 6 years ago, that I was deja vu jumping, I tried my best not to tell myself that, hey, I'm in the future. But instead, I walked down to the corner store and I asked for the winning lottery numbers for that time. I just had to look at, I didn't have to look at the date because I knew it was going to be about 2 to 8 months to a year later, most likely it was going to hit. And I just had to see whatever and memorize all the numbers that I saw. But check this out. When I picked up the ticket that showed me the winning combinations for that drawing, they were all blank. It's like I could see the date, but I couldn't see the numbers. They were all blank. I picked up another one, the same thing, picked up another one. Next, you know, I was frustrated and I woke up and said, I must be deja vu jumping. And then I woke up and found myself in the present. And ever since then, I haven't been able to deja vu jump like I used to back when I was 8 years old up until 6 years ago. Now when I deja vu jump, it's more like an event that happens like 2 years from now. But it goes in the land of forgiveness in the back of my head until the actual moment when I'm wearing the same clothes, the actual event is taking place, a person walking down the street, or a thing that's happening on TV with a person in the room with you. When those events are all clearly placed in together and instantaneous like a lightning bolt, it hits me in the head and said, dang, this is my deja vu moment that I dreamt of 2 years ago or a year ago. You know, and now here it is coming true. Now check this out. Now this is what's going to happen. Joe Biden's going to win by a landslide. And remember, I told you he's going to win by a landslide. After he went, now if he wins by a landslide, you know everything I'm telling you is true and facts. Now check this out. This is what's going to happen. After he wins by a landslide, Kamila Harris is going to take on after her. She's going to do a good job of being vice president. So when she becomes the nominee for the Democrat Party, it's going to be obvious. Like, duh, of course. She did a fantastic job of being vice president. Now, the Republicans, they're going to have a strong male candidate and a strong female candidate because they don't know their Republican society is going to push more towards a woman versus woman battle where you will guarantee have a female president no matter what, or a male versus female battle, which the woman would most likely win because everybody's already fed up of this bigotry and discrimination according to sex and skin tone, which is stuff that we had no choice but to be, and we're just making the best of the cards that we were dealt with. And it's not our fault that we look the way that we look on the outside. All that matters is how we think and act and how we are mentally on the inside. Each and every one of us is just a potential astronaut that can work on a spacecraft doing something, whether it's janitorial work or engineering work or, you know, being a co-pilot or working on the deck. There is something that you could do on a spacecraft. Just because you're a Homo sapien, you automatically qualify, you know. So that's why I don't really believe in wars, even though I was in the infantry. But I just don't like people thinking that America is pussy. And 9/11 was a terrible event that I was trying to rush into, but the Fort Worth and Arlington, let me just say, Metroplex police were too busy trying to do Operation Lock Smith Up, and all Smith is trying to do is keep his record clean so he can join the military during the time of war, which is unfair, but these people didn't care. They were, and here's the worst part about it, the cops that were bothering me were people who could pass the physical and the ASVAB, but they're too busy bugging, tapping, surveilling me, trying to do every trick in the book to try to suspend my driver license twice and have me go in and out of jail. And now they said something, if I get a third driver while license suspended for not having car insurance, I can end up doing 6 months to a year in the penitentiary. So they're going to sneak me into the pen, which is crazy. And the only one crime that I do is smoke marijuana. Other than that, I'm a perfect law-abiding citizen. And once marijuana becomes legal where I'm located, I won't even worry about it. I'll be 100% legal and always. But anyway, that's what's going to happen. Kamila Harris is going to win by a landslide as well. And their male and female candidate is not going to defeat her. She's going to be the next black president. And then I don't think we're going to have any more black presidents after that for a while, as far as I can see. If I deja vu jump again and if I can force my mind to remember what I see, I'll put another video out. Smith out.